When a billionaire laughed, a poor boy's incredible 30-day journey unveiled a life-changing truth. Malik stood nervously at the front of the small community center, the chatter of the crowd swirling around him like leaves in the wind. His heart pounded as he cleared his throat, searching the faces of his friends and neighbors. They had come to listen to stories of hope, stories that shone brightly against the backdrop of their everyday struggles. Today, he wanted to share his dreams of becoming an entrepreneur, to inspire others just as they inspired him. But just as he began to speak, a booming laugh cut through the air, coming from a sleek-suited billionaire seated in the front row. The laughter echoed dismissively, sending a wave of humiliation crashing over Malik. His cheeks burned as he stumbled over his words. "I believe anyone can create something amazing, no matter where they come from." But the billionaire only sneered, his condescending smile piercing through Malik's resolve. "You think you can become an entrepreneur? Look around, kid." The laughter erupted again, and Malik's heart sank. But it was like a match struck in his soul, igniting a fierce determination within him. He vowed then and there to prove that ambition knows no financial bounds. Over the next 30 days, Malik jumped into a whirlwind of hustle and grit. He worked shifts at Gus's diner, where the smell of sizzling burgers and fresh bagels twirled temptingly in the air. He also began tutoring neighborhood kids, igniting their minds while igniting his own entrepreneurial spirit. Along the way, he met Mr. Johnson, the old war veteran down the street. Together, they swapped stories that packed life lessons as powerful as cannonballs. Mr. Johnson taught him about honor and resilience, as they reminisced about battles fought not just on fields but in everyday life. Yet, despite his hard work, Malik faced walls of social prejudice and economic injustice. He carried the weight of these struggles on his small shoulders, feeling like a marionette caught in a sudden storm. Just as he began to feel a spark of recognition in his community, disaster struck. A bank error threatened to derail the fundraiser he had planned to showcase his classmates' talents. Doubt clouded his mind. Would his family think he had reached too high? But as the weight of uncertainty pressed down like heavy stones in his stomach, Malik felt the echoes of the billionaire's laughter looming over him. Would he really let that moment define his ambition? Should he turn his back on the hope he had sparked in his friends and himself? No. As he stood at this critical crossroads, something ignited a fire in him again, the fire to rise above the laughter and create instead of cower. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Malik gathered his friends, fellow dreamers ready to pour their spirits into this fundraiser. They worked tirelessly day and night, transforming it into a spectacle that would shine with hope and talent, a celebration of their community. The energy buzzed through the air, creating a vibrant tapestry of dreams woven together in the face of adversity. Just as the night dawned, excitement built high, but another shadow loomed. The billionaire was back, his laugh like thunder threatening to shatter their hopes. Malik's heart raced. Would he conquer this night and turn it into a beacon of light, or would the billionaire's ridicule extinguish their dreams forever? Malik's hands trembled slightly as he prepared for the biggest moment of his life. The community center sparkled under twinkling lights, and excitement mingled with nerves in the air. He could hear the laughter of the billionaire drifting over from his seat, cutting through the anticipation like a sharp knife. Malik exchanged glances with his friends, who had put their heart and soul into making this night happen. This wasn't just an event. It was a symbol of their dreams, their resilience. He stepped up to the makeshift stage, his heart pounding against his ribcage. With a deep breath, he forced himself to focus on the audience filled with hopeful faces rather than the looming presence of the billionaire. Tonight is more than a fundraiser. It's a celebration of who we are, what we can achieve, no matter the odds stacked against us. Polite applause echoed back, but Malik caught a sneer from the front row. The billionaire leaned back, arms crossed, his expression conveying disbelief. Malik felt the sting, but at that moment, he refused to let it distract him. If anything, It propelled him further. As the evening unfolded, his friends showcased talents that lit up the room: singing, poetry, dance. Each act was met with cheers, with the audience thriving on every heartbeat of inspiration. Fatima's poetry touched lives, while Jamal's dance moves brought laughter and joy. The whole room was alive, filled with the sweet nectar of community spirit, but Malik was not immune to doubt. Every applause echoed with a silent question. Could they really transcend the barriers life threw at them? Could he really make this a turning point, a way to silence that laughter for good? Then, his moment arrived. Malik took the stage again, the spotlight casting a warm glow around him. He spoke with a passion he didn't know he possessed. We are not defined by the money in our pockets, but by the dreams in our hearts. This world is built on hope, and if we believe, we can change everything. A wave of solidarity washed over the crowd, faces brightening with understanding. For a brief moment, the billionaire's laughter seemed to fade into the background, replaced by the thump of hopeful hearts. Yet, as Malik scanned the room, he saw something unsettling. The billionaire was leaning forward, a look of realization creeping over his features. Malik's stomach twisted in uncertainty. Did he sense their potential? Was the laughter transforming into something more sinister? Suddenly, half the crowd erupted into applause, but amidst the noise, Malik heard the billionaire shout, "This is just a cheap show. None of this will matter." Gasps swept through the audience. Malik's heart dropped. The moment of triumph shattered, replaced by a suffocating silence. He felt the uproar of disbelief, anger, and disappointment from his friends like a gust of wind. But this wasn't just about him anymore. It was about everyone who dared to dream. Taking a step forward, Malik held up his hand. "No, this isn't a cheap show. We are making something real, and we will not be silenced." The murmurs of the crowd shifted as Malik's words hit home. He looked directly at the billionaire, his voice steady. "This is our beginning. Your laughter is just noise. Look around. We're here to stay, and we'll keep dreaming." An unexpected moment of clarity settled in the room, thick and palpable. Perhaps against the odds, it was true. They were there to prove that dreams could soar, even in the face of ridicule. But would that revelation ignite the fire in all their hearts or push them further into doubt? As tension filled the air, the billionaire's expression hardened. Was this just the beginning of an unexpected confrontation, or could it lead to something transformative? Malik's thoughts raced. What was about to unfold? Malik stood at the edge of the stage, feeling the weight of the room bearing down on him. It felt like the atmosphere itself had split in two. On one side, the warmth of his friends' support, sparkling with solidarity. On the other, the cold laughter of the billionaire, slicing through their dreams like a razor. "Is that all you've got?" The billionaire taunted, his voice oozing disdain. Malik's stomach churned, but he couldn't back down now. Behind him, he could see Fatima, her eyes filled with fire, and Jamal, fists clenched and ready. They believed in this moment. They believed in him. "Listen," Malik said, his voice rising above the murmurs. "You may think this is a joke, but we're all here because of a dream. A dream we refuse to let die." Around the room, people shifted in their seats. The atmosphere was electric. Faces lit up with recognition, with shared struggle. It was about more than the money. It was about hope, about community, about breaking chains that held them back. "Yeah, dreams can't be silenced," shouted Jamal, thrusting his fist into the air. Malik felt a surge of courage. He wasn't alone. The billionaire leaned back again, eyebrows raised in mockery, but Malik could see the flicker of something else beneath his smug exterior: discomfort, maybe even fear. It spurred Malik into action. He stepped further out, lowering his voice as he spoke directly to the audience. "Tonight isn't just for us. It's for every kid who has ever been told they're not enough, for every person who has faced ridicule for dreaming bigger than their circumstances allow. We aren't just here to ask for help. We're here to show what we can build together." A roar of approval erupted, shaking the walls of the center. Malik's heart raced as he saw the billionaire's countenance shift. Those who once doubted were now nodding along, feeling the tide turn. It felt like standing at the edge of a new world. Then came a new voice from the crowd, an older gentleman, one of the community's elders. "You speak truth, young man. We've fought for too long to be heard. We won't let one man's South laughter drive us into silence. The crowd began to chant, "We will be heard. We will be heard." An overwhelming wave of unity washed over Malik, filling him with a fire that pushed back the shadows of insecurity. But then, through the chanting, the billionaire sprang to his feet, his face reddened. "You really think this matters? You think a handful of applause will change anything?" His voice thundered, and the laughter was back, mocking and cruel. Malik felt a knot form in his throat. Was this worth it? All the effort, all the dreaming? He glanced at Fatima and Jamal, who looked back with determination. They refused to give up. "This isn't just a handful of applause," Malik called back, unwavering. "It's our foundation. Dreams are the seeds of our future. You may have money, but we have something that money can't buy: heart." Silence fell over the crowd as Malik's words lingered in the air. The tension stretched like an elastic band ready to snap. Some in the audience began to rise, hands clapping, eyes shining. Malik could feel every heartbeat echoing the truth he had just spoken. Then, the unexpected happened. The billionaire hesitated, as if grappling with a sudden awareness of how his dismissive laughter had met their rising spirit. Would he finally come to understand? With that thought, Malik's nerves trailed off, and a heavy realization settled over him. This wasn't just about proving them wrong. It was about transforming the entire narrative. As silence hung thick, Malik took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of possibility. Everyone, dreamers, believers, doers, let us show him what is possible. Would the billionaire accept the challenge? What would happen next in this pivotal moment of battle between the heart and the distorted dreams of wealth? A stirring truth hung in the air, waiting for a response. The crowd was watching, and so was the world. The billionaire paused, his smug demeanor momentarily faltering as murmurs swept through the audience. Malik could see the doubt flickering in the man's eyes, the realization that his power might not be absolute. The crowd's energy pulsed like a living organism, ready to turn the tide. "Is this really what you want?" the billionaire finally asked, his voice low, but the laughter had drained from it, replaced by a hint of curiosity. "To stand up against money and influence? That's exactly what we want," shouted Fatima, her voice as fierce as a storm. "We want to redefine what success looks like. We have more than you can ever buy, and it's time you see that." Malik didn't want to let this moment slip away. "We're building a future that's equitable," he added, feeling the adrenaline surge through him. "One where everyone is included. One where dreams are not just for the privileged few." He could feel the weight of conviction behind his words. The audience began to clap again, this time more deliberately, stronger. Each clap echoed against the walls, cascading like waves. People were on their feet now, chanting and repeating the words echoing Malik's heart, "We will be heard." The billionaire shifted uncomfortably, his arms crossed tightly over his chest. Malik was surprised to see the uncertainty in his eyes. Could it be that this man was actually listening? Would he reconsider the power dynamics that had kept the community down for so long? "Let us face it," Malik said, his voice cutting through the noise like a beacon. "What is wealth without purpose? What do we gain if we stifle those who wish to rise?" An oracle-like murmur rippled through the crowd, and Malik felt the tension building, the moment on the brink of transformation. He knew this wasn't a battle purely between two men. It was a struggle for everyone who ever thought they held no value, who lived day to day under a weight of unfulfilled potential. For a second, the billionaire seemed to flinch, perhaps recognizing the truth lingering in Malik's words. He opened his mouth, stammered, then closed it again, as if searching for a retort that would silence this burgeoning strength. Malik took a step closer to the edge of the stage. His heart raced. "Let us do this together. Partner with us instead of against us. Imagine what we could accomplish if we unite our resources and talents." The billionaire's face tightened. It was evident that he had never been asked to combine his wealth with the hopes of the very people he aimed to dismiss. Then the unthinkable happened. He straightened up, plastering a marketing smile back on his face, but something in his eyes gave away the internal struggle. "You really believe your dreams can create change?" He raked a hand through his hair, annoyance creeping back into his tone. "We don't just believe. We will make it happen," Malik shouted back, each word landing hard and clear, like hammer strikes against iron. "This is more than a challenge. This is a movement." The crowd roared, drowning out the billionaire's protests. And Malik felt the hope pouring into him from the people around him, a surge of unity, of strength that was unstoppable. But the billionaire's face twisted back toward an unyielding resolve. You want to play hardball? Then let's raise the stakes. What was he getting at? Malik's heart raced. Had they unwittingly stepped into a bigger game? Malik locked eyes with Fatima, who raised an eyebrow in disbelief. What was he about to propose? The air crackled with a mix of fear and adrenaline, the ground shifting beneath their feet. Did they have the strength for whatever challenge was coming? Would they be ready to face his next move? And so Malik stood at the precipice of something greater than he had ever imagined. What challenge awaited them? Would it build them up or break them down? The billionaire leaned forward, the corners of his mouth twisting into a smirk. All right then, let us make it interesting. I propose a 30-day challenge. A contest of sorts, he declared, his voice dripping with condescension. Let's see if your ideals can stand up against my resources. Prove to everyone that your movement is worth a dime. Gasps swept through the crowd, a low buzz echoing like a swarm of bees. Malik's heart pounded, shock flashing across his face. What did he mean by this challenge? Thoughts tangled in his mind. Could they really take on someone who held the strings of wealth and influence? Fatima stepped forward, her chin lifted defiantly. What are the terms? The billionaire's posture shifted, his confidence returning like a tide. Simple. You have 30 days to gather real support from the community. Funds raised, initiatives launched, tangible change, he explained, counting off his fingers. If you succeed, I'll contribute a significant donation to your cause. If you fail, well, let us just say your dreams will be just that. Malik felt the weight of those words. Doubt swirled around him like a storm cloud. Failure wasn't just a personal defeat. It would be a blow to everyone who believed in their fight for change. But then alongside that doubt, a flicker of determination ignited within him. This was their chance, their duty to show the world what they were made of. But if we win, Fatima pressed, you'll have to collaborate with us. Support our mission in full, not just with money, but with your influence and connections. Deal. The billionaire's smile could have cut glass. Let the games begin then. As he stepped back, an uneasy energy hung in the air. Malik stared at Fatima, who matched his expression of resolve. They didn't have the luxury of time to waste. This challenge could either lift them to new heights or bury them under the weight of expectation. All right, let us rally, Malik said, raising his voice over the still thick atmosphere. Today isn't just about fighting against wealth. It's our chance to show what community can really do. We can win this. But as the crowd cheered, a gnawing worry clawed at Malik's heart. They had 30 days to turn hope into a reality. Would they be ready to face every obstacle? Time slipped through their fingers like sand as they formulated plans, reached out to their neighbors, and dreamed of possibilities. Posters were printed, social media campaigns were crafted, and meetings were held. Yet as the days wore on, the strength of their bond began to be tested. Each setback felt like a weight strapped to their shoulders, each challenge overwhelming in magnitude. How many more emails could they write? How many doors could they knock on? Doubts crept in, whispering taunts that threatened to break their spirits. And then there were the moments of joy, the community gatherings, the smiles they generated when people started to believe. Malik learned that in every corner of his neighborhood, immense talent thrived, yearning for a chance. He couldn't help but be inspired, realizing that community wasn't just about need. It was about empowerment. But just when it seemed they were gathering momentum, news broke that would shake their resolve. The billionaire released a haunting ad campaign voicing fierce opposition against them, mobilizing resources that could complicate everything they fought for. Panic set in. Would this sabotage their last chance? Malik took a deep breath, his chest heaving with uncertainty. They had a choice to make. Fight back or be crushed. But beneath all the pressure, one thing was clear. They weren't just fighting for themselves anymore. Each heartbeat was intertwined with the hopes of everyone in their community. Could they rise against such powerful opposition? Could their dreams withstand this storm? As Malik stared into the horizon ahead, a fresh determination bloomed deep within him. This was their moment to blaze a trail. Would they find the light to carry them through? Time was slipping away, and each minute ticked louder in Malik's ears. The community's energy buzzed around him, but inside, He wrestled with a rising tide of anxiety. They faced what felt like an uphill battle, but he couldn't let fear snuff out the hope they lit. Fatima often caught him deep in thought. "Are you okay?" She'd ask, concern etched on her face. He could see it too, the worry that masked her usual fire. But there was strength in her gaze that urged him to dig deep. "Every great movement has its doubts, right?" he replied, even as unease gnawed at his stomach. "We just need one breakthrough. One person to believe." The days blurred into frantic activity. Posters, rallies, social media posts like wildfire, they spread the word. They met with local businesses, schools, and even the church. Each time they shared their vision, it felt like planting tiny seeds in eager soil. Yet, after the initial excitement faded, they faced harsh realities. Some doors slammed, and many people turned their backs. Then, they organized their first big event, a community fair featuring local artists, musicians, and food vendors. They hoped it would ignite enthusiasm and donations. Malik felt electric as they transformed an empty lot into a vibrant space with laughter, art, and the scent of food wafting through the air. "Look at this," Fatima beamed, her eyes sparkling. "People are coming together." Malik couldn't help but smile as he saw neighbors mingling, sharing stories, and discovering each other's talents. But their spirits dimmed at dusk. The event had raised some funds, but not nearly enough. Malik felt frustration welling up, biting his lip as he surveyed the crowd. Did anyone realize the odds stacked against them? "Keep pushing, Malik. This was just the beginning," Fatima reminded him, nudging his shoulder, always the spark when he started to dim. They gathered in a nearby cafe to brainstorm next steps. As the door swung open with a clatter, a figure stepped inside, an older man, dressed in faded jeans and a worn-out jacket. Malik recognized him as Mr. Thompson, a local artist who lived off his meager sales. "I heard about what you're doing," he said, voice shaky but fierce. "Let me help." He shared stories of artist collectives he'd been part of and offered to lead a workshop that could rally more locals. Hope flickered in Malik. An ally was exactly what they needed. And while planning for the workshop, the weight of the Billionaire's counter-campaign loomed heavy on Malik's mind. The video ads were ruthless, showcasing Malik's flaws, turning doubt into a weapon. "People will forget about us." "He's powerful," Malik muttered, frustration and helplessness igniting within. But Fatima wouldn't let him linger there. "Our strength lies in our community. Remember that." The workshop went off on a crisp Saturday morning, sunlight spilling onto canvases, laughter intertwining with colors. As they created, Malik realized something incredible: more people came to share their hearts than to seek funds. Their voices began to drown out the Billionaire's harsh narrative. But as they started to gain momentum, Malik received a text that shook him to his core. It was a message from Fatima, showing a social media post flaunting an even bigger event that the Billionaire planned in direct competition to them. "What are we going to do?" Malik whispered, rage and fear battling within him. As the walls seemed to close in, Malik felt the heartbeat of the community around him. This wasn't just a fight. It was everything they believed in. Could they rally against such a sweeping tide? Would their genuine story break through the chaos? The battle of hope and despair raged, and Malik and Fatima stood at the brink of a turning point. What would it take to soar above the din? As Malik gazed at the artists pouring their souls into their work, he knew victory meant something far beyond this challenge. It was time to write a new narrative, one that could outlast the noise. The sun broke over the horizon, casting a golden hue on the streets that were once filled with laughter and community spirit. As Malik stepped outside, the events of the previous night replayed in his mind. The Billionaire's flashy event had overshadowed their hard work, throwing a shadow over the optimism they'd built. Fatima was already at the workshop space, her concentration stark against the rustic backdrop of the community art center. She was pinning up flyers for the next big event, her brows furrowed in determination. "Did you get any sleep?" Malik asked, his voice barely above a whisper as he approached her. "Not much. I just kept thinking about what we can do." She turned to him, meeting his gaze. "We can't let him steal our thunder. This is about more than just one event. It's our story." Malik's heart raced. She was right. They needed to reshape the narrative, but how? The mountain before them felt insurmountable. As they brainstormed, an idea sparked within Malik, illuminating the fog. What if they told their story through art, like storytelling in colors and sounds. What if we invited everyone to share their experiences and dreams? A mural, a performance, anything to show who we really are, he suggested excitedly. Fatima's expression brightened as she grasped the vision. A community art project. Each piece would be a declaration against his negative narrative. It could be powerful. With newfound energy, they began to gather people again. Artists, musicians, and community members responded with cautious optimism. Each person added a thread to a tapestry of expressions, their stories intertwined, weaving hope and resilience together. Word spread about the project. As they painted, Malik watched neighbors exchange ideas, laughter mingling with the sounds of brushes gliding over canvas. The spirit of unity filled the air, defying the chill of competition. But just as hope began to swell, Malik received another alert on his phone. Yet another post from the Billionaire, mocking their efforts. "Look at the pathetic amateurism," it said, accompanied by an image of a lavish, glitzy gala. Malik felt his heart clench. Frustration threatened to unravel their labor, just as it had before. "Let us respond," Fatima insisted, her voice firm. "Not with anger, but with art. Let us show them who we are." That very night, they gathered in a circle, nervous energy crackling. It wasn't just about the glib insults. It was about authenticity. Each individual brought their stories to the forefront. They painted raw emotions, vibrant colors splashing against the canvas, each stroke an act of defiance. As they worked, laughter mingled with tears, the true essence of their community spilling into view. Malik couldn't help but feel shifted. This project was no longer just a reaction, it was a revelation. They weren't just fighting against something, but were also fighting for something far greater, their identity and unity. Days passed, and the mural began to take form. An explosion of colors and messages from the community told their struggles, their dreams, and their triumphs. Then, as Malik stood back to admire their work, a message pinged on his phone again. His mind raced as he read it. "Meet me tomorrow. It's about the mural." The name attached sent a chill down his spine. "Who is it?" Fatima asked, sensing the shift in his demeanor. "It's Mr. Thompson. He wants to meet." "Is that good?" she probed, the lines of worry etched onto her face. "I don't know. Why would he want to talk now?" With hope battling apprehension, Malik's stomach twisted. What did Thompson know? Would this be the turning point they needed, or a hurdle they weren't ready for? "Let us see what he has to say," Fatima said, determination suffusing her features. "We've come this far together. We're not backing down now." But as Malik gazed at their mural, he felt the weight of the unknown press down harder than the worry they'd faced before. What was waiting for them in that meeting? The stakes were rising, and their collective spirit was about to face another test. Would they find a new ally in this unexpected stranger, or deepen their struggle? The question lingered in the air, as heavy as the brush they wielded, and it promised that all was not yet settled in their story. The day of the meeting dawned, heavy with anticipation. Malik paced back and forth, his thoughts racing. He had hardly slept. What was there to say to a man who seemed to hold so much power? Fatima watched him, her eyes full of an understanding he desperately needed. "Just be yourself," she said softly, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Remember, this is about the mural. It's about us." As they walked to Thompson's office, their footsteps echoed through the empty streets, the air hanging thick with the scent of fresh paint. The mural stood as a testament to their community, transforming the narrative from one of despair into a vibrant tapestry of hope, all captured in colors that shimmered under the morning light. Stepping into the lobby of the sleek skyscraper where Thompson's office was located, the contrast hit Malik like a gust of wind. The opulence surrounding him made him feel small. Tall glass walls reflected not only the world outside, but also the disparity between their lives. It was all so shiny, so polished, yet it lacked the warmth and heart he had come to cherish in their workshop. That Fatima's presence grounded him as they approached the receptionist. After a brief wait, they were ushered into a conference room. The space was stark and minimalist, dominated by a massive table that felt more like a barrier than a gathering place. Thompson entered with a confident stride. Dressed impeccably, he exuded an air of authority. Malik's heart raced. The man's reputation preceded him, and as they exchanged pleasantries, Malik felt the weight of scrutiny bearing down on him. "Why did you want to meet?" Malik asked, his voice steadier than he felt. Thompson leaned back in his chair, a smirk playing on his lips. I've been following your project, he began, eyes narrowing slightly. It's interesting. Malik's stomach churned. Interesting, he echoed, trying to mask his frustration. We've worked hard to show our community's true spirit. Thompson waved a dismissive hand. Oh, I get it. You're telling a story. But let us be real, artists are often regarded as amateurs. You really think this mural will change anything? Fatima stepped forward, a flame igniting in her eyes. It will change everything. This is about reclaiming our identity and having a voice. It's about showing that our community matters. Thompson raised an eyebrow, intrigued despite himself. And what if I told you I could give you a platform? Imagine this mural being part of something bigger, something with my backing. Malik clenched his fists. A platform? But at what cost? Would this be yet another layer of the same narrative they were trying to break free from? Why should we trust you? Malik shot back, the tension crackling in the air. You have a reputation for exploiting those who don't fit your mold. Thompson's expression shifted, revealing a flicker of admiration. I'm not here to exploit. I want to invest in community projects, and I see potential in yours. For a moment, silence reigned, heavy with possibilities. They could gain exposure, funding a chance to elevate their voices. But deep down, Malik couldn't shake the feeling that this could be a trap. What is the real catch? He asked, skepticism threading his voice. Thompson leaned forward, sincerity breaking through. I want to help you, but I need to know you're committed. This isn't just about the mural. It's about growth, a partnership that could redefine how we see art and community. Malik exchanged glances with Fatima, searching for an answer amid the uncertainty suffocating them. Could they truly align with someone like Thompson? As the billionaire leaned back, waiting for their response, Malik felt the weight of decision looming large. Would they turn down a golden opportunity to be heard? Or could this partnership be the bridge they need to reach the heights of their dreams without losing their essence? Caught between hope and doubt, Malik's heart raced as he faced the consequences of their upcoming choice. What would they decide? Would standing for their principles come at a price they weren't ready to pay? Malik's mind swirled like a flurry of leaves caught in a gust. The pressure in the room felt suffocating, as though the walls were inching closer. Fatima stood beside him, her determination shining bright against the stark backdrop of Thompson's polished office. He could see her gaze skimming the surfaces of the decisions before them. A potent mix of hope and dread hung in the air. Thompson, Malik began, stealing a glance at Fatima for support. What do you expect in return for your investment? The words tasted bitter. Nothing comes for free. Thompson leaned forward, his fingers steepled, a glimmer of mischief in his eyes. This isn't about money, Malik. It's about influence. You help me, and I can help you amplify your voice. Think bigger than just your mural. Think about bringing your entire community into the limelight. Or becoming a pawn in your game, Malik replied, unable to mask the anger that surfaced. You want to use our story to enhance your brand. Isn't that how it always works? Thompson shot back, unruffled. The question is whether you want to play the game or stay on the sidelines. Malik glanced at Fatima again. He could see the fire in her eyes dim a little, flickers of doubt creeping in. What if Thompson was right? What if this was the opportunity they had been waiting for? But at what cost to our story, our authenticity? She asked, her voice wavering slightly. Thompson's brows knitted together. You keep saying our story like it's a sacred relic. The world has changed, and so must you if you truly want to impact it. Those who hold the brush have the power to paint the canvas how they see fit. You can't be both artist and critic. Malik felt a surge of frustration bubbling beneath his calm exterior. He didn't want to be a tool for someone else's vision. Yet, the fear of losing out on something monumental pricked at him like thorns. I want my community represented the way it is, raw and real, he asserted, his voice strong again. We aren't seeking commercial art. We're creating change. A change that no one will see if you can't market it properly, Thompson replied pointedly, eyes narrowed. Imagine seeing your mural in galleries, headlining local events, becoming the icon of everything you stand for and more. That is what I'm offering. Malik felt his heart racing. The idea of exposure and recognition was undoubtedly seductive. But the stakes were high. Every word of Thompson's seemed weighted with potential, and that made him uneasy. What is the next step? Malik asked, his voice steady but tinged with uncertainty. Simple. Start small. Let us launch a campaign, share the mural's story, and garner support. You trust me enough to brainstorm ideas? Thompson leaned back again, confidence unwavering. Fatima shifted beside Malik, and he felt her tension. They were at a precipice, each decision splitting them apart or potentially elevating them. Look, I'll give you time to think it over. Just remember, nothing happens if you don't act, Thompson said, standing up and extending a hand, a smirk dancing across his face. As Malik stood, waiting for Fatima's response. He rehearsed the pressures of the moment. What if they chose to step into this world of glitter and gloss, only to lose themselves? Let us talk, she finally said, determination surfacing once more. But this can't just be about business. It has to be about our community. A flicker of hope ignited within Malik as he nodded, feeling the weight of their mission settle back into place. They could shape this in their image, couldn't they? As they stepped out into the blinding sunlight, Malik's heart was still pounding, but now it pulsed with new possibilities. Yet, doubt nagged at the edge of his mind. What if they took the leap and it all crumbled beneath them? Walking back through the bustling streets, Malik whispered to himself, what would that really mean for us? Unbeknownst to them, their journey was only just beginning. What awaited them in the days ahead? A chance at success or the fight for their identity? The community mural shimmered in the evening sun, colors dancing like the spirits of everyone who had poured their hearts into it. Malik stood before it, a profound sense of purpose washing over him. After the whirlwind of the past month, the mural had become a living testament to their dreams and struggles. Fatima joined him, her fingers tracing the vibrant images painted across the canvas. It's perfect, she whispered, her eyes glistening. This is our story now. As they prepared for the unveiling, the crowd swelled with anticipation. Neighbors, friends, families, they all came together, united under a shared vision. Malik remembered the disdainful laughter of the billionaire. That moment had transformed him from a boy dreaming of success into a young man determined to create change. Let us reclaim our narrative, Malik announced as he stepped up to the podium. His heart raced, but he felt the strength of community cradle him. We're not just here to paint walls. We're here to build a legacy, one filled with dreams that refuse to be silenced. Cheers erupted from the crowd, filling the air with electricity. He could see the light in their eyes, the belief igniting like fireworks across a night sky. Every face mirrored the courage that had bloomed through their struggles. Then, he spotted the billionaire, standing off to the side, arms crossed, his smirk replaced by an expression of tension as the crowd's energy surged toward Malik. But Malik held steady, standing taller than the weight of doubt. We take pride in our roots, he continued, his voice echoing against the backdrop of the mural. Every stroke represents a story, a dream waiting to sprout. And it's time the world saw what we're made of. With a nod from Fatima, they unveiled the mural together, vibrant colors sprawling across the wall, showcasing portraits of their community members, each section a piece of their journey. Gasps mingled with applause. The emotions surged as the crowd recognized themselves in every stroke. Malik could feel it, the transformation from doubt to recognition. The sound of laughter, cheers, and even tears filled the atmosphere, shifting the narrative, reshaping their identity. This was theirs, completely and utterly. But in the crowd, the billionaire's expression morphed into surprise, a shadow of realization clouding his earlier arrogance. Perhaps he underestimated the power of hope and unity. Malik locked eyes with him, a quiet challenge lingering in the air. Just then, Fatima took the mic, her passion sparking like kindling. And this is just the beginning. She beamed at the crowd. We invite you all to join hands with us, to rise together. Help us take this vision beyond our neighborhood. Let it inspire others. Suddenly, a voice rang out from the back of the crowd. It was Mr. Thompson, the artist who once questioned their place in the world. Count me in, he shouted, stepping forward with fire in his eyes. Let us take our story beyond these walls. The crowd roared in approval, Malik's heart soaring. Unity swelled like a tide, urging everyone forward, creating a space for collaboration, for sharing their story with the world. As the evening progressed, the billionaire, no longer shielded by his bountiful wealth, stood before them with uncertainty. Malik approached him boldly, driven by a newfound sense of power. You wanted to see what we could do in 30 days, he said firmly. Look around you. This is our reality, not just a fleeting moment. We're going to change lives. The billionaire's brow furrowed, a conflict evident within. What if I offered you support instead? He questioned, incredulity layering his tone. Malik raised an eyebrow, surprised but intrigued. Support how? A partnership, the billionaire said, slowly, weighing his words. Let us showcase this work in galleries, create grants for local artists, amplify your stories. Malik felt the crowd's anticipation, the murmur running through them like a stream ready to break free. It was an opportunity, but could he trust it? Will you fund our dreams and not dictate them? Malik asked, his voice steady. I'll help guide and elevate, the billionaire replied, his eyes reflecting a flicker of respect. You set the vision. I'll help it thrive. Malik shared a meaningful glance with Fatima. Trust had to be mutual. Then let us do it together, he said, relief flooding through him. The laughter that had once mocked him faded into the background, replaced by this surge of possibility. The crowd erupted into cheers again, feeling the shift, the realization of their momentum. Together with the unexpected allies, they would forge a future where dreams weren't just for the privileged, but accessible to all that as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of red and orange. Malik stood at the heart of the community, a boy transformed into a leader, a triumphant spirit woven into the fabric of hope around him. It was their moment, their story written in bold strokes. They were ready to break boundaries, to rewrite narratives, and to hum boldly not just with brushes, but with voices that would resonate long after this day. It was time to rise together. And with that, the journey wasn't over, it was just beginning. Now it's your moment too. You need to subscribe now to not miss the incredible journeys that will unfold. Leave a like now to fuel this narrative onward. Every bit helps. Comment with your reactions and feelings, they matter more than you think. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need this spark of hope and transformation. Only true fans understand the power of community and the importance of supporting each other.